Good Tuesday, everyone, and welcome to Conversation Daily News. Glad you all could be with us. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this Tuesday. Have a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. And in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you're part of my conversation with Shatoria Christian. She's the author of the book, Authentic Transparency, and the publisher of Adele Magazine. We'll talk to her about her year and all of her success. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Tuesday headlines. In international news, Israel and Hamas agree to extend truce for 2 more days and to free more hostages and prisoners. Israel and Hamas agreed to extend their ceasefire for 2 more days past Monday, the Qatari government said, raising the prospect of a longer halt to their deadliest and most destructive war and further exchanges of militant-held hostages for Palestinians imprisoned by Israel. The announcement, made by the Qatari foreign minister spokesperson, came on the final day of the original 4-day truce between the warring sides. The Israeli military said Monday evening that 11 hostages were handed over to the Red Cross in Gaza and were on their way to Israeli territory, marking the start of the forced swap under the original truce. Israel has said it would extend the ceasefire by 1 day for every 10 additional hostages released after the announcement by Qatar, a key mediator in the conflict, along with the United States and Egypt. Hamas confirmed it had agreed to a 2-day extension under the same terms. But Israel said it remains committed to crushing Hamas military capabilities and ending its 16-year rule over Gaza after its October 7th attack into southern Israel. That would likely mean expanding a ground offensive from devastated northern Gaza to the south, where hundreds of thousands of Palestinians have crammed into United Nations shelters and where dire conditions persist despite the increased delivery of aid under the truce. Israel will resume its operations with full force as soon as the current deal expires if Hamas does not agree to further hostage negotiations, government spokesperson told reporters on Monday. Israel has said that, in addition to dismantling Hamas, freeing the rest of the captives is a top priority. So far, 58 hostages have been released during the current truce, including 39 Israelis. Before the truce, 4 hostages were freed, another was rescued, and 2 were found dead inside of Gaza. Israel has released 117 Palestinians from prison since the truce began. After weeks of national trauma over the roughly 240 people abducted by Hamas and other militants, scenes of the women and children reuniting with families have rallied Israelis behind calls to return those who remain in captivity. Hamas and other militants could still be holding up to 175 hostages enough to potentially extend the ceasefire for 2.5 weeks. But those include a number of soldiers, and Hamas is likely to make much greater demands for their release. The Palestinian prisoners released were mostly teenagers accused of throwing stones and firebombs during confrontations with Israeli forces or less serious offenses. Many Palestinians view prisoners held by Israel, including those implicated in attacks, as heroes resisting occupation. In national news, Cyber Monday marks the year's biggest online shopping day and one more chance to save on gifts. Consumers are scouring the internet for online deals as they begin to cap off the 5-day post-Thanksgiving shopping bonanza with Cyber Monday. Even though e-commerce is now part and parcel of our everyday lives and much of the holiday shopping season, Cyber Monday, a term coined back in 2005 by the National Retail Federation, continues to be the biggest online shopping day of the year thanks to the deals and the hype the industry has created to fuel it. Adobe Analytics, which tracks online shopping, expected consumers to spend between $12 billion and $12.4 billion on Monday, making it the biggest online shopping day of all time. In more national news, what's Merriam-Webster's word of the year for 2023? Hint, be true to yourself, says the Associated Press. In an age of deep fakes and post-truth, as artificial intelligence rose and Elon Musk turned Twitter into X, the Merriam-Webster word of the year for 2023 is authentic. Authentic cuisine, authentic voice, authentic self, authenticity as artifice. Lookups for the word are routinely heavy on the dictionary company's site, but were boosted to new heights throughout the year, says the Associated Press. We see in 2023 a kind of crisis of authenticity, the editor-at-large of Merriam-Webster said in an interview to the Associated Press. What we realize is that when we question authenticity, we value it even more, he says. In more national news, U.S. airports saw record passenger volumes but fewer headaches over Thanksgiving weekend, says the Associated Press. A record number of passengers traveled through U.S. airports over Thanksgiving weekend, the Transportation Security Administration said on Monday. The TSA said it screened just over 2.9 million passengers on Sunday, surpassing the previous record of 2.8 million set on June the 30th. And finally, in business news, Wall Street edges lower as 4-week winning streak cools off. Stocks edge lower on Wall Street as markets look ahead to updates on inflation and how American consumers are feeling about the economy. The S&P 500 fell 0.2% on Monday. The index is coming off a holiday-shortened week and its fourth straight winning week. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Tuesday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Words I Choose to Live By. No matter what challenges lie before you, remain focused on the one who has the answers to all your problems. Today is not about you. It's about being the best reflection of the one whose image you were created in. Because of him, you are enough, so go believe it. Have an amazing Tuesday. Shatoria Christian is featured in today's Entertainment Spotlight, right here on Conversations Daily News. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. Shatoria Christian joined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about the year that's been 2023, and one of her biggest achievements of the year, that being the launch of her magazine, Vidal, is a bit of our conversation.
Shatoria, thank you so much for this time. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you.
What has it been like for you to kind of reflect on all that's happened in 2023?
To reflect has allowed me to just be grateful. I've had a lot of accomplishments here this alone, retiring from the military after 21 years, becoming a school teacher, getting the magazine going. So it allows me to be grateful for just the little stuff and not subjecting myself to negativity of myself and making sure I'm reaching goals and things that I didn't even have on my plate originally.
Yeah. And Shatoria, I'm really just so proud of you and all you've been able to do, because I said to you in another interview, people would look at us and think, we should not be where we are. You have gone through things in your life, that could have definitely have held you back or set you back, but you have been able to thrive over them. I think people will look at where I'm from and say, what I remember even being told when I started in broadcasting, nothing like that comes out of the South. It comes out of Mississippi. But, yet we have been able to walk in our purpose and get to where we are. What has that been like for you to celebrate the win? Because I think a lot of times we can be our own worst critic. But what has it been like for you to remind yourself of how far you've come?
Man, it's so funny. I woke up, I saw a video yesterday, and it sang this song, God's Favor Me, and then I went to sleep with that song. And God had to remind me this morning that favor isn't fair. I didn't grow up at a home where there was love and all that stuff. My grandparents raised me, and they did the best that they could being grandparents. But, when you're not growing up here and I love you, and you did, it makes it a little difficult. And so to be able to look, oh man, I did that. I used to question it a lot, but then God had to remind me, favor isn't fair.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning into this edition of Conversations Daily News. Prepare to get on tomorrow, more news, message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and of course, your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.